Man, I am excited to talk to you today about probably something that gets me most, it gets me most hyped to talk to you here on the team here. We're talking about money, making money. And hey, if this is, let's say, because it might be the first time that you and I are meeting, my name is Mike and I help you make money in different side hustles. I'll be real with you though. I mean, I feel like I can be real with you as a team member. If you're not a team member, consider subscribing. But I want to make as much money as possible. I will look at you directly and say that. But here's the kicker, because you're like, dude, like, great, man. I want you to make as much money as possible. That is a premise here on the channel. And today we're going over 5 powerful money moves, kind of mistakes, you know, if you're not doing this, but 5 money moves to really level up your income, or at least get you in the right mindset when it comes to money, folks. Because I got to ask you straight up, and let me know in the live chat where you're watching from. I got to ask you, like, be real here, is, are you afraid of money? What do I mean by that? Are you afraid of money? I'll tell you right now, think about this. There are probably those that are not watching this video right now because they're afraid of money. They're like, dude, all right, 5 money moves to make right now. Like, dude, like, what is it? You're afraid of money. You're afraid of going after money. You're afraid of at least learning about money because you don't want to roadblock yourself and say, like, yeah, well, this is what I make. This is what I do. This is why we're talking about this today. Super powerful. And I want to show you this quote here. There is no shortage of money on planet Earth, man. Only a shortage of people really going for it. Entrepreneur, real estate mogul, sales trainer Grant Cardone, author of tons of great entrepreneurial self-development books. Dude, there's no shortage of money on the planet Earth, man. Like, you see people with like billions of dollars. We're not talking about making billions. We're talking about, like, you know, you're like going to the table for like dessert, like the family party, and there's like that pie, and you're like, all right, slice off an appropriate, we got to share, right? Or like The Office, right? You got to like share the cake. Like, but imagine a cake that's like infinitely large. There's no shortage of money out there. Don't limit yourself thinking that there is. There's money. You just got to learn how to go out there and get it. That's what we're talking about here today. And again, I'll be real with you. I feel like I can be real with you. Like, I'm not a millionaire. Grant's a deca or more millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I would love to be a millionaire. My goal, sure, is to become a millionaire. But following the journey here, I'm someone like you, man, that's just trying to make some money. And now at 34 years old, like there's mistakes that I made. We're talking about this here today, that I don't care if you're 24, 34, 64, whatever it is, you got to have the right mindset of money. Number 1, building out multiple revenue streams. Folks, I see you in here. Andy First, Elf in here as well. Folks, I see you in the live stream. Let me know where you're watching from. And again, Vicky, thanks for being here. We're talking about money. We're talking about money. And yeah, John, thanks for being here. See, John, it's a safety issue. If you're concerned about side hustles that put you in the public space, maybe that's what you're referring to when it comes to safety. There's a ton of different ways to make money without maybe driving a vehicle. I want to drive this home, pun intended there, is you got to think bigger when it comes to money. Number 1, building out multiple revenue streams. Let me show you something here. Saw this really neat article. I want to show you these resources. This is not just like, who's this dude's opinion? Like, no, this is proven best practices. This isn't just me talking here. This is learning over decades. These are repeatable steps to success. This works. So this article from Tom Corley, contributor, author of this book, How Self-Made Millionaires Create Multiple Streams of Income, from the author of Rich Habits. Here's the thing. You have to get your mindset of money right. Don't think like, dude, I'm leaving this video I'm not trying to be a millionaire. Like, I'm making 25K. I respect however much you're making. Like, there's no judgment here on this team. You can join this team. It's a judgment-free zone. I don't care. Again, what's the goal? I want you to make as much money as possible. So don't worry that it says millionaire. Don't get scared. Remember, don't get afraid about money. And this article states that Tom, over the course of 5 years, studied the lives and money habits of 361 people, including 233 self-made millionaires. And his findings in 3 books are stated in part here. More than 2/3, or 76% of the millionaires in his study were self-made. The vast majority. And again, just keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a million or multi-million. It can be 60K, 50K, 100K, whatever it is. And again, being real with you, my goal, if you followed me through the years, and folks, I've been flat broke. I've been very transparent with that. In 2019 or so, a company that I was working for went under, couldn't pay us, couldn't afford my rent. It was the first time I ever missed rent payments, and it is embarrassing. And I could barely afford gas in the car, and I had to have a real mindset shift when it comes to money. Let's not tangent too much. Let's get back to this. About 1/3 of that group, 31%, described their backgrounds as poor. 45% described their upbringings as middle class. So this states that 76%, I'm not a mathematician, like 70% said hey, dude, I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth, upper middle class. Again, the mindset of money. Do not convince yourself I'm in this or such upbringing, I can't do it. You can do it. You can do it. I was raised like middle class, I'd say. We did not have the biggest house. We don't have the biggest house. And again, I'm not a millionaire, but I hit my first $100,000 in revenue last year. I'm trying to pass this on to you. No matter the background or industry, Tom found that one of the most common traits among self-made millionaires is their ability to create multiple revenue streams of income. Every single one of the self-made millionaires in his study started small, adding one revenue stream at a time. I know it seems like a lot. Dude, yeah, you have to work with me here. You have to start somewhere. I mean, hopefully today is the day that you start. So for instance, let me give you real experience here, not just, read from an article. I want to share both, my story and other stories here. So, I have active revenue streams with, the food delivery apps, parcel, the grocery, everything that we talk about, here. And this is the best place to learn how to do that. Subscribe to join the team, learn how to make money in different side hustles. But we're going bigger this year. We're going bigger when it comes to income. I started, the YouTube thing in 2017. Again, one step at a time, learning best practices, making money from YouTube. I've done sponsorship deals. That's another revenue stream. There's affiliate income. If you shop with our Amazon team store, the first link in the description for the best accessories on different side hustles, there's commission there and a whole bunch of other things, but you got to start. 65% of the self-made millionaires in Tom's study had 3 streams of income. 45 had 4 streams of income, and 29% had 5 streams of income. Each additional stream they added gave them wealth that they could then leverage to invest into another. So let me know, actually, in the live chat. I want you to be a part here and stay until the end of the video. We'll do a Q&A to answer some of your more specific questions. How many revenue streams do you have? Let's be real here. How many revenue? And again, I don't care if it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. Let us know in the live. I'm curious in the live chat in the comment section. Number 2, maxing out employer contributions. I've never said this before. Tip number 2 is maxing out employer contribution. I say this because statistically, 80+% of you are working a full-time job. And I love it because I respect your hustle. I have done that. My brother does that. He also does videos here. So again, subscribe if you haven't already. I've done the whole gamut, folks. I'm not just making this up. I've done these apps full time. I've done them part time when working a full time job. So again, statistically, a lot of you are working a full time job. Max out your employer contributions. Typically a 401k. Now, if you don't have a 401k from your employer, listen up. I'm going to address that. But this from Yahoo Finance states for the past decade, the national average of the 401k match from employers has fluctuated between 3 to 5%. 86% of employers offer their employees a retirement plan contribution. Of the 92% of workers with a matching option, 84% of active employees received a contribution from July of 19 to July 2020. So most 84% of employees that have the option are taking the match when it comes to their 401k. Not all. You should. Employees contributed 8.8% on average, with employers contributing 4.6%. That equaled an average employer retirement plan of $3,560. Now, I am not a financial advisor. This is not meant to be legal or professional financial advice. This is from my experience. Again, I am not a financial advisor. I don't know your financial situation. But I'm telling you, and again, this is something that I'm going to show you something really I've never shown before on the next slide. So drop a like on this video if you appreciate the transparency, if you're getting value, if you just like what we do here, definitely drop a like on this video. I'm going to show you something here in a second. If your employer offers a 401k, well, first, if they offer it, take it. Okay. It's a retirement plan account. It's going to mature over time, usually just based on what the market's doing. You can put money into it, deduct it, take it off automatically, usually from your W-2 paycheck. And then sometimes employers will match that to a certain percent. I used to work for a healthcare equipment manufacturer. I think they had like an 8% match. It was wild. And I'm going to move on here, but I don't think I maxed it out at 8%. And it's something that I kind of regret now. I mean, that was some time ago. That was at least 10 years ago, I believe. And that's something that I wish I would have done. So I want you to do it. So look at this. Transparency. This is my actual 401k statements from when I was employed. Not now, because I do self-employment. So when I was working, this is 2015, this is my 401k from that employer match. And take a look here. There's a good amount of money in here. My contribution, there's current period on the left. This was just a random, monthly statement or whatever it was. And then year to date. So you can see my contributions like what, $629 and then $734 for the employer contribution. Like, could you imagine getting, in essence, free money from your employer? It's a benefit of being employed with that company. Take it. And then the year to date there. Now, this statement was from you can see again here, 2011, maturing through 2015. And frankly, it would have just kept going up if I stayed employed with this company. But look at this. Just over these years here, an ending balance of $23,000. $23,000, used for retirement. And again, I was not maxing out, my contribution. I should have. What else? I can't remember how much I was putting in, but it gives you, and this was a Vanguard 401k. It says, hey, in retirements, we estimate you can withdraw, I believe it was like $2,300 a month. Not a ton of money, right? Granted, I was new into the workforce. So you're not thinking about retirement. That's my point here. You're not really thinking about it. But that is my point, to max out these contributions, put more money into this if available. Hope you got value in that. And just a transparency there of 401k options. But if you don't have a 401k, let's address that. If you don't have a 401k, I would go to your employer and say, Is there anything maybe I can do to help the business, the company, that I could get more of a contribution for, pay wise? Is there anything I can do? Can I take on additional projects that I'm looking to do more and, just be compensated appropriately, looking to move up the ladder or whatnot? And if they don't have a 401k, again, this is just entertainment purposes, maybe look at a different company. Maybe a larger company that has the revenue that they do offer a 401k, because this is very real money. But again, you can speak with your own financial advisor about your own situation there. Number 3, pay off debts. So this is a powerful money move to make right now. And again, folks, I see in here Joy getting value, Alfonso getting value, Kevin as well, folks. If you're watching on the replay or live, I definitely appreciate it. If you're getting value, if you can drop a like here. Bridget, following for over a year, has 4 different streams of revenue. I love to see that. Christine, a longtime viewer, subscriber as well, folks. I appreciate you watching here. If you want to talk pain, can we do, I want to get, if I have your permission to get vulnerable here, I'm going to show you something as well. If you're a newer team member, maybe you haven't seen this. If you've been following for a while, you've seen this. But paying off debts, it's a money move you need to make right now. Here is, again, transparency, my actual credit card statement. It was, what was it? I don't know, Discover, something like that. You can see I opened this thing, again, shortly after being employed. Well, this was a little bit after I initially got employed, but you can see opened in 2015 there, July, with that first green dot. The green dot says I paid on time. You know where this is going. So there was a point there, 15, 16, 17, 2018, 2019 is the time that I told you that company went under. They couldn't pay us. And yeah, my fault for staying with that company. Tons of red flags. Was too naive to see that as other people were leaving. I take full responsibility for that. But being not paid, $4,000 in essence, it left me, I couldn't pay rent, let alone my credit card. I'm going to try to pay rent first, dude. You probably would too. Like, forget the credit card, man. I'm just trying to keep the roof over my head. I was in San Diego, California at the time. So what happens is you have the missed payments, the 30 days late, as you see there, the 60 days, 90. And then it's written off from the credit card company as a charge off. And doing so, your credit score already takes a hit, but it gets really tanked because of that. And I'll leave a card linked above going over how I got out of that. But you can see here, that went all the way up until last year, when I finally generated enough money to put money towards this pending balance, because you still got to pay it off, folks. Now, you don't, again, not financial advice here, not legal financial advice, but a lot of times you don't have to pay it off in full. You can settle. And at that point, you're getting into collection agencies. I was getting calls every single day from collection agencies. Like, you owe us, I think it was $7,800. And, when you have like no money, no extra money, like 78 is a ton, and I know there's circumstances where there's like 10K of debt, 20K of credit card spending. You have to be very smart when it comes to a credit card. So once you start making money with what? Number one, the multiple revenue streams. If you make $500 extra a month, then, if you're doing a side hustle, save some of that for taxes. But if there's a margin there and you have a goal to pay off the debt, pay off the debt, because it's still hanging over your head. Do what you can, try to settle, et cetera, with banks and what have you there to try to help yourself out. But once that weight was lifted, folks, I will tell you, and that's what I did. I settled, I already took the hit on the credit score. It happens whenever you initially aren't paying. So that the damage is already done there. There's no more interest. At least with my bank, they froze, the interest, because it's already been written off from the bank. You just have that, a big weight of the balance there. And I get it. We're going to get into tip number 4 here, but it's painful. I get it. If you have a family, if you're trying to manage expenses, if you have more than one credit card, with the debt. And in fact, let's go into our next point here. How do I know if I have too much credit card debt? This is from U.S. News and World Report. So let's go over this briefly here. Number 1, your credit utilization ratio is too high. So what this is going to mean is if I have, let's say, a $5,000 credit limit, if I'm using like $4,000 of that $5K limit, my ratio, my actual utilization of how much credit am I actually using is very high. I've read around 30% or less. Utilization ratio is really what you're aiming for. Me, I don't need, dude, once I settled that, credit card debt, I got an entry level credit card. I got the Apple card, which is, if you didn't know, it's basically an entry level credit card. And I'm not trying to pay interest anymore. I pay that thing off every month because I know how it can snowball, interest. Exactly. So you want to be smart with that utilization, how much balance you're carrying month over month. And number 2, you're paying off credit cards with other credit. I mean, that stands to reason. I hope you're not doing this. Can you imagine paying a balance off with another credit card? And look, I know things come up. You have to talk to your financial advisor if you're in that circumstance of how to get out of it and steps that you can take there. You're only making minimum payments on your balance. That's what I was doing. That's what I was still doing whenever, I had this and I was still paying off my monthly. Sometimes I remember paying the minimum, and it's not good because you're, of course, paying interest on the carried balance. And if you're kind of a noob with your first credit card, they're going to stick it to you with your interest rate. I'm talking like a 20% interest rate, which is wild. So imagine paying like 20% more, even like a $300 balance, you're paying $60 in just interest. So now you don't owe $300, you owe $360. You have a high debt to income ratio. If I have a ton of debts and I make, $40K, $50K, whatever it is, obviously you don't want to be skewed with too much debt, because if you don't make enough money, you only make $40K, $30K, $60K, whatever it is. It doesn't matter if your ratio's off. The income, it just doesn't make sense. It's going to catch up to you. It's going to snowball. It's going to basically overtake you. Yeah. And S says, you're screwed when you pay your bill and the loan amount never goes down. Folks, when I was paying off my 2015 Volkswagen Passat, I was paying like $212 a month on it. And then, of course, there's interest on that auto loan. I went in to my credit union, I think it was, their website to take a look at my my auto loan, and it'll say you're paying like $180 for the car payment and then like $30 or whatever it is in interest. So you're not actually paying off the vehicle as much as you're paying some off on the vehicle and paying the rest in interest. And you don't realize that. And then obviously it's gonna add like thousands of dollars over the course of that loan in just interest. So that like $18,000 car is now like a $24,000 car based on what you paid in interest. You're maxing out credit cards, right? It makes sense. Card debt payments are high, yeah, compared with other bills. So I had that as well. Like if your credit card bill is, minimum payment of like $450 because you've been carrying balances, interest is compiling, like then I'm paying more on my credit card and then like my car payments. Obviously we want to minimize that. Our next tip there. Tip number 4 of 5, folks, I hope you're getting value in this video. If you are, consider dropping a like here. And then again, stay until the end here after we're done for a Q&A, talking about your side hustle and money questions. Get those ready. Start or grow your investments. So why do I put this as tip number 4? Because again, I understand if you're kind of struggling with money like I was, that you don't, dude, I don't have money for investments of any kind. I can't put any money into, like, let's say stocks, ETFs, whatever it is, or even that employer match. That's why I say multiple revenue streams first. You got to make more money. And remember, what do we say at the beginning? There's no shortage of money. So you can get it. You have to be in the right mindset that you can believe that you can get it, because you can. I believe you can get it. I know for a fact you can get it. There's money out there. So once you have some money, maybe you're in a place where I have some money, I can start investing. Start investing. And again, this is where you might want to speak to our financial advisor, but there's a balance of aggressive portfolios and conservative portfolios. Like for me, I'm fine with being aggressive with my investing portfolio, which means I'm more heavy in stocks versus, let's say, bonds or ETFs. An ETF it's like your S&P 500. That's an ETF. So it's going to be a compilation of assets. It's stocks. It can be other things like, I believe, metals, commodities. And it's bundled up into the S&P 500. It's some of the highest grossing companies. And then I also invest in the Vanguard, the VTI ETF, which is again, compilation of stocks and assets. Or for me, I also invest in more aggressive investments, stocks, and have heavier position on some of those stocks. Here's what I would do. Let me know if you agree with this in the live chat or the comment section. It is hard to part with money. I feel like it's hard to part with money when it's like a business thing. Again, let me know in the live chat or the comments if you agree with this. I feel like it's hard to part with money when it's like self-development and business. Like, I don't want to spend on stocks when I want to like get takeout, or I want to go to the movies or this, and there's got to be some sacrifice. There's got to be a sacrifice season. It's been said, you want to live today like no one else, so later you can live like no one else. You got to have some kind of sacrifice season. Sacrifice the dining out, the vacation. I know it hurts. Sacrifice that $1,500 vacation to pay off $1,500 on your $3,000 credit card bill. Now you cut it in half, right? Now you can cut the rest in a year or two. It's things, and that's what I did. I love buying organic food. That fridge over there is stacked with organic food. You best believe when I was broke in San Diego, I was buying like the value packs, right? The great value, whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I knew I had to have a sacrifice season. So start and then grow your investments over time. Why? Because again, multiple revenue streams. If you're thinking like, I've heard this stuff before, like this dude's talking about investing multiple like you've heard this before, because this is actually what works. I'll be real with you. This is actually what works. And what doesn't work is all the stuff that no one talks about. The get rich quick stuff. It doesn't work. This is what works over time. And then our last tip here is to budget not only your money, because again, that's something you've probably heard before, but your time. And I want to get into this talking about, I've heard this on another YouTube channel. I'm not going to take credit for this, but who here, a show of hands, emojis, who here likes IPAs? Show of hands. Put an emoji in the live chat or the comment section. Well, I'm not talking about those. And again, I am borrowing this idea here from Think Media, a YouTube growth channel, but they call it income producing activities. Not those IPAs, these IPAs, income producing activities. So think about your schedule. Are they IPAs? Is it making you money? Now, you may be thinking, well, I have a social life, I have friends, I have family, I have stuff to do with the kids. That's cool. I'm not trying to take away from that. I'm literally trying to take away from non-IPAs. Like watch the Netflix for an hour and a half a day. It doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're having 4K of credit card debt over your head, you probably shouldn't be watching Netflix for an hour and a half. I'll tell you. I don't know who else is going to tell you. Family, friends might not. They'll probably just say, oh, yeah, I hope you do something to get out of that debt. Man, debt's hard. I got debt myself. They say misery loves company. Ignore them. Do the IPAs. Sacrifice season. Stop watching Netflix. Whatever else you're doing to waste that it's not making you money. Have a sacrifice season for IPAs. Start whatever it is, a different side hustle, affiliate income. I'm a huge believer in affiliate income. Start the product, the course, the service, the web business. Gone are the days do you need 300 or even 100K for a brick and mortar. You literally need, I could do it for like $200 to make a simple website and film a course, whatever it is. Put my services on Fiverr if you can and contract out my services. But you got to start. And you got to start with IPAs. So there's a balance. I know, don't yell at me. I play video games right over there. There's a balance. But look at your schedule and how much of it is, we'll say, green for money-making IPAs. Try it. Go into your calendar. Block out some green time, maybe, so IPAs to help you make the money moves. Folks, get your questions ready. I hope that you got value in that. Drop a like if you did. Talking about money moves this year or really any year, whenever you're watching this, I know you can do it. I have done it. You have to commit and know and believe that you can do it because you can. There's no shortage of money out there. So what I want you to do is subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, drop a like on this video. I will look for your comments, questions down below. And you can also click or tap screen here for my newest video, as well as a video recommended for you. And I'll see you in the next one.